Welcome back, Gen Chem 2. I'm so excited. My first two videos are working. I think we're getting over the hump of technical issues. So let's keep going. Let's take advantage. Let's keep going with our integrated rate law. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite methods. So remember, with our integrated rate law, what are we looking for? We're looking for the best possible data and including how that rate changes with concentration. We're including everything in the integrated rate law. We're going to get the most accurate information on concentration at any time. This is awesome. So this is probably one of the most practical aspects to come out of kinetics, and it's all connected to the order of your reaction, because remember, we're taking into account how that rate changes with your concentration. So it's pretty cool. There are three ways that we can solve these problems. How do you get the order of reaction? Well, the first thing we have to do for all of these, remember, with the integrated rate law, we have a different series of equations with that order. So you have to have the order to know what you're doing in the integrated rate law. So how do you actually get to the order? Well, number one, remember, we can solve our rate law if you have that data. Now, most of the time you don't. You may not have that data. So then the second thing is that we can take that concentration versus time data and plot it. Our actual plot is going to give us our reaction order. And what are we looking for? We're looking for a linear plot. So I want to show you how to do that today. And then third, of course, if you've got a crafty worded problem and you're including the units to K, then you may be able to skip the plot and actually figure out what the order is. So let's concentrate on this second method. This one we've already done. That's in a video. Let's do this second one. Awesome. So what do you do when you get a stack of data? The first thing I'm going to do is look at the data. We've got concentration versus time. So this is not your change in rate versus time. I'm sorry, I had a brain freeze there. That is not how your rate changes with your concentration. Okay, this is concentration and time. So this is not method number one. That's not the data we have. This is method number two. So what you do when you get a big stack of data like this, once you know that you've got concentration versus time, we're going to put that in on Excel. You can use your graphing calculator. I happen to prefer Excel because I'm going to show you a piece of information that is really helpful in this section that you may or may not get from your calculator. So I literally put this data in just in two different columns on Excel. So when you see these in your homework, just stop and put them in on Excel. And then you're going to choose a scatter plot. So I highlight both columns, and then I go into Insert, Scatter Plot, and you want dots only. We need to do a linear regression. So once you get your actual scatter plot pulled up, it's going to look like this. You are going to right-click on a data point, and you're going to add a trend line. And then your plot is going to look like this. Okay, but under that trend line, I want you to check the box for the linear equation. I want you to check the box for the R value. So then you should get a plot that is pulled up like this. I love it. And then what we really want are these two values. Notice right away, this plot looks pretty linear. Our slope is negative. That's telling us so far this is zero order. We haven't had to manipulate our data. Our data is already giving us a linear equation. And how do you know if it's really linear? The closer to 1 wins. That's what that r squared value is for. So when we get to a place in our second order where we have 3 different plots that we're comparing, we're going to pick the one that's closest to 1. And then our line equation, we'll go ahead and write it, because that gives us k. So without even solving a darn thing, we just put in our data from Excel. We took that data from Excel. We let Excel do a nice trend line. And without even calculating anything, we have figured out that this is 0 order. And we figured out that k is 100. So look at that, compare that to our last homework set. That's pretty cool. So if we can get good at graphing and using Excel, you literally get your answers right there in just a couple of minutes. So this is perfect. This tells us what series of equations to use. So now we can actually solve for our question. And remember our series of equations. Now we want to read that 0 order. And so I want to make sure I've got the right order for this one. So let's grab our equations for 0 order. Oh, I had to walk in a door. Sorry about that. Let me grab my equation sheet. Okay. Now we can solve the rest of our problem. If we've got our equation sheet and we chose 0 order, okay, this is awesome. I just gave you second order, so never trust me. Nope, need my equation sheet. All right, so we have a at any time t. Okay, I love it. All right, so we now have k, and we can put in any t. So our equation is asking us, look at this, we've already solved 2 things in our problem. Order, that just came from our plot. Rate constant came from our plot. Now we need the concentration at 17 seconds. So what we're going to do is solve for this one at 17. This, we're going to read from our data. That was our initial. So let's take a look at that. That is 1 molar. This is coming from our plot, and we're going to plug in 17 seconds here. I love it. So bust out your calculator and we can solve for this one. I don't have my calculator, y'all know that. I just never do that. So let's put in the 100, and I'm going to put a little sign down here. Okay. And then let's go ahead and put in our concentration was 1 molar. So we can switch that too. I love it. Okay. So now this is awesome. Bust out your calculator. Let's see what we've got. We're going to literally take and solve this equation for what we were looking for. So we need 17 times there, and go ahead and just plug and chug. And I will end this video and see what kind of answer you got. I love it. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you soon for